closer.
For what it's worth, some of the submarines rigged up their own little showers on the back of the, yeah.
Because sometimes it would get terribly bad in here, you know.
Oh, I know, and they hot bunked. Did they teach you that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll actually be telling them about it in a bit. Welcome aboard the U505.
I've been in here.
Oh man, I believe you.
Welcome aboard.
This is the bow room.
Alright, I'll have everything just gathered around these quarters. Awesome.
I'll get out of the way here, guys.
Oh, thank you. Right. Yes, it is quite cramped aboard the U505.
And let me tell you guys, as I learned the hard way, they make these things out of hard steel. I cracked my head on one, the Type 7 up in
You guys
Kiel.
kind of smush inside.
It hurts.
I just need to close this.
We're gonna hot bunk it here.
Yes,
Yeah.
we are. Alrighty. Excuse me.
Okay. Go ahead.
Alright, thank you so much, gentlemen. Welcome aboard the Petty Officer's Quarters. Now, this is where the middle-ranked men aboard the U505 slept. And being a middle-ranked man, you did have some privileges, such as the presence of these craters, which gave a little bit of privacy. Now, as you guys might note, as we came in, there have been some modifications that we have made aboard this vessel. Now, that initial entry point that we came through did not exist. How the men actually got aboard the U505 was through a hatch located at the top of the boat. Now, the floor has also been lowered to accommodate you guys. Believe it or not, this is the original height at which the men would be navigating around the boat. It was much smaller. And it was also much more cramped as there were bunk beds on both sides of this vessel. Now I'll direct everyone down there, and you will notice the torpedo room. That is also where the lowest ranked men aboard the U505 slept, down that hatch. Now some of you might note that even today there aren't a lot of bunk beds. During its time in the war there weren't much either.
They were folded up
35
until
bunk
they could
beds
shoot
for all
some
59
torpedoes.
men, which meant that they often had to share. They would be sleeping in shifts. Once it was time for your shift to begin, the man you were relieving would step into your hot and sweaty bunk. As an additional fact, it was often lice-infected as well. But it wasn't so bad aboard the U505, they did have some perks. They had a radio and a record player. What you're hearing right now, that music, that's actually French dancehall music. It is one of the 87 records found aboard this vessel. Now it's interesting to note that French music was actually banned in this time in Germany. But Captain Harold Longa allowed it aboard this vessel as he knew that the Germans wouldn't be doing much for prolonged periods of time. But once they did spot some action, once they would spot an enemy ship, they would issue the dive bells. They would ring these and open these valves, highlighted in blue, letting water into the ballast tanks. It would allow it to submerge this vessel into an approximate of 35 feet underwater. Once it was under, they began making calculations to fire the torpedo. In order to do this, a lot of calculations had to be made. They would be making approximates for the distance, the speed of both vessels, the angle at which you had to fire that torpedo, as well as the strength you had to fire that torpedo. Once all of this was done, then they would wait for Captain Harold Longa's signal. He would say, "Los," which would tell all the men aboard the U505 to fire that torpedo. Let's wait a moment and see if we can actually hear the sound, "Los."
Winkel 18. Winkel 18. Eingestellt. Bester Schusswinkel 20. Schusswinkel 20. Eingestellt. Becher fertig. Becher ist fertig. Becher.
Los.
Yes. And away that torpedo went. Now that ticking sound you guys are hearing? That's actually the sound of a stopwatch. They knew the exact time at which they would hit their target. If it was silent, it meant a miss. A crash meant that you were successful. For this, we were successful. Then you'd hear the sound of that enemy ship as it got crushed under the pressures of the Atlantic.
8 ships.
8 ships, yes. During its active time, the U505 did destroy a total of 8 enemy vessels.
7
got captured.
7 under the first Captain Luva and 1 under the last Captain Longa.
Exactly. So, we will be actually talking about what happened to the U505 and its story of its capture down in the control rooms. But before we do head there, there are a few things that you might want to note. We'll be bashing the kitchen or the galley. Now, there was one kitchen and there was only one cook. He was in charge of feeding all 59 men 3 square meals a day. And he only had 3 hot plates and the stove the size of a shoebox to use. Then we'll dash into the general officers' quarters, where middle-ranked men aboard the U505, where higher-ranked men aboard the U505 slept. Then you will see the sound and radio room, where intelligence equipment, such as the Enigma machine or German decoders, can be found. Lastly, right adjacent to it, you will see Captain Harold Longa's own personal living quarters. So, without further ado, I'll have everyone pass to the left, and I'll take you guys down there. Awesome.